Welcome in, everybody.
Ooh, that's a fun little sound.
You like that?
It was cool.
And you know what else?
What?
It's copyright free.
Ooh, very fun. Royalty free.
You won't believe what I went through finding copyright free music that actually sounds cool.
Royalty free is good for me.
Yes, because now we can share it to our YouTube.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of That Movie Show.
Ooh, yeah, we're expanding.
We are expanding to That Shows. That Movie Show. I am Mike Wendt, with me Liam Stryker from New Age Insiders. And, of course, if you're listening to this on demand on New Age Insiders Pop, am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Okay. Well, welcome to the first episode. Yes, we have been, I believe we've been teasing back and forth on Twitter about a movie podcast forever.
For a while.
Pretty much since I did the first New Age Insiders show, which was, what?
If you're looking at this live, I'm going to be tweeting this out so you can all enjoy the live experience.
Absolutely. You know what's actually fun? Please share it with your friends, first of all.
Yeah.
And later in the show, I'm going to have a special prize.
Oh, giveaway.
Prize show. Yes, I have a wildly mediocre prize closet full of stuff and things.
Swag and junk.
Swag. Today's prize, which I'm going to tell you about later, is actually related to the topic at hand, which, of course, the topic at hand is The Departed.
Ooh.
We figured if we're going to do a movie show, might as well do one of the best movies.
Yeah.
Especially to come out of Boston.
You ready to date this show already from my end of things?
Oh, go ahead.
This was the Best Picture winner the year I graduated high school.
2006. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you want to date myself even more? I was a 98 graduate.
Ooh, very fun.
I'm an old sumbitch. Yes, Departed was released October 6th, 2006. Best Picture. A lot of fun facts about the Academy Awards.
Yep.
Well, we will get into in a minute. But yes, we will have something to give away, and I will tell you about it later in the show, what exactly it is. But the way to win, here's how you're going to win. Share this show.
Oh, yes.
I don't care how you share it. If you're sharing the live Facebook right now, which we are live on that Facebook.com, which will become Facebook.com/ThatMovieShowTV will be the web address. Share this show with your friends. Tweet the show. Tweet it.
Yeah, I just sent a link.
There you go.
You can share my tweet. That counts.
But you have a week. Okay, I'm giving them a week from today.
Oh, a week. Okay.
And it's going to be randomly selected, and the winner will be randomly selected, and you can enter multiple times by sharing the show again and again and again. See, first show, you got to get those numbers. However, we're going to buy your...
By any means necessary,
exactly.
Like Malcolm X.
So I will tell you exactly what the prize is a little bit later on in the show. But let's get right into The Departed.
Sure.
Because it's a fantastic movie.
It really is.
I remember seeing it in the theater and coming out saying that's a near perfect movie to me.
It was awesome. And it was rightly deserved. I mean, Martin Scorsese is one of the best directors of all time.
Yes.
And, it's unfortunate that it took him this long to actually win the Academy Award. But this is a perfect movie to win it because sometimes the actors or directors, they win the Best Picture or Best Director or Best Actor. They win it for the wrong thing because... they end up, it's just like a make good for the last time.
It's a makeup.
And this is one of the times that he deserved it.
You could almost nominate anybody
for
this movie. I understand it was put up by the same studio that did Blood Diamond.
Yep.
And they had Leo nominated for that.
Yes.
Now, hindsight being 2020, if you're going to nominate Leo in the same year, 2006, for any movie, whether it's Blood Diamond or The Departed,
you
might want to go with the other way.
It feels like this should be the right one.
You might want to go the other way. But yeah, it won Best Picture. Now, granted, it was a weak year.
It was.
The only real competition for The Departed, in my opinion, was Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, man, that movie is so good, too.
It's good. Is it Departed good? Like, how many times, if you...
Right.
Here's the thing. If you're sitting at home and, I understand that if you're seeing The Departed on TBS, it's just going to remind you, hey, go to the other room and grab your Blu-ray.
Yeah, of course.
Because watching The Departed on TBS with, I believe, 238 different versions of the word fuck, in The Departed. It doesn't make for good TBS or AMC viewing.
No.
But what it's nice about is, yes, when it pops up on TV, just go to the other room, grab the Blu-ray.
Of course.
And just sit and watch and enjoy, just like I did the other night.
Yeah. That's exactly. Another movie that always does that for me is Scarface. Not Scarface. Goodfellas.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It's like, why am I watching this on TNT?
Yes. There's a term. I didn't create the term, but I definitely adopted it. It's called Shawshanked. Hashtag Shawshanked. When you're just sitting there and you're just flipping, and you get sucked into a movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, for me, I'm a night owl, but there's a certain point in the night where I do want to go to bed.
Right.
Unfortunately, if I get Shawshanked by a network where it's like, oh, here's The Road Warrior, followed by House of a Thousand Corpses, followed by Big Lebowski. It's like, fuck, I am here all night.
All night.
All night long.
I watched The Big Lebowski last night.
Did you?
Yeah. I was really tired, went up, laid in bed. I was like, I'm going to watch a movie, and I put on The Big Lebowski.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Not a bad choice ever. Lebowski's one of my go-tos. I have a handful of ones that I can watch forever. I think we're going to dive into that, though, a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, we'll dive into that.
We're still on The Departed. But yes, back to the Oscars. One for Best Picture.
Yep.
It was the only remake of a foreign film to win Best Picture.
Oh, yeah.
It's also the first movie to never be released on VHS to win Best Picture. The first.
Oh, that's right.
Because Warner Brothers stopped doing it earlier in that year. They stopped producing VHS earlier 2006.
That's interesting. Yeah, remember VHSs?
Remember that? I actually have
Hashtag Be Kind Rewind.
the back of my phone
Is a VHS.
is a VHS tape.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, I used to run 4 Hollywood videos. So VHS, 4 of them. A lifetime ago. Yeah, I'm an onion, babe. We're gonna get into it.
I used to live behind a Blockbuster, and that was when Blockbuster decided that it wanted to try and compete with Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a thing where you could subscribe monthly, and you could only have 2 DVDs out at a time, and you could just swap them out at any point. So I would get 2 DVDs, watch them both, go back to Blockbusters, rent 2 more,
Yep.
and just continue the cycle for like a weekend.
It's not a bad move. It's
No.
not a bad move at all.
No.
But
Saw a lot of movies.
Competing with Netflix, that's a bad move.
Yeah, especially when you could have bought them.
Right, exactly. And yes, The Departed being a remake, it was a remake of the 2002 Hong Kong film called Infernal Affairs. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
I don't know where to find it, but I am going to China
The internet.
in 2 weeks, and I'll find the movie there, and then I'll bring it back and we can watch it.
Is that racist?
It's a Hong Kong movie.
That you feel you have to go to China to find a movie?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to.
Yeah, okay. So it was, let's see, it actually won 4 Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Director, we've talked about.
Yep.
It also won for Best Film Editing.
Okay.
And Best Adapted Screenplay, William Monahan. Wahlberg was nominated, Best Supporting Actor. He lost to Alan Arkin, Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
So that was their little, okay, you're up against Scorsese.
Yeah, right.
This is the one. This is going to be Scorsese's makeup for Goodfellas and all the ones we didn't give him.
I loved Casino.
Yes.
I get Shawshanked by Casino all the time.
And that's a long one to get Shawshanked by.
One time I was in film school, and we were supposed to go to cinematography class, and there was still like 40... All of our classes were 3 hours long. Mm-hmm. And there was still like 45 minutes left in Casino. So we were just like, all right, we're going to go to class a little late. Like, we'll just, like, 5 more minutes.
Right.
And then the next thing I know, the cinematography professor comes out, and we just watched the rest of Casino while he just, like, did commentary over it.
Okay.
Which was really, really cool. He didn't have any connection to Casino at all, but, just kind of, like, visually, like, breaking down cinematography techniques and stuff while we just watched Casino.
Well, a fun little off-topic segue. I'm going to actually be activating my Patreon, I think, tomorrow.
Ooh.
And on there, I will be doing, as one of the rewards, I'm just learning all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm the last person to not make money the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be activating the Patreon tomorrow. I have the address. It will be patreon.com/Mike Wendt.
Ooh.
Keeping it simple. I don't like naming things.
Yeah,
Hence,
right.
That wrestling show, that movie show.
Yeah, that wrestling show, that movie show. Keep it on message. I get it.
Exactly. Keep it simple. If I could have just called it Mike Wendt, Jesus, we had Mike Wendt show for how long?
Right.
So I will be doing commentaries as one of the rewards. I'll be watching movies. I will be watching stuff off the WWE Network because it will be trying to support that wrestling show a little bit. And I'll also be I'll be doing commentary over Wicked Bites episodes. My food show on Nessun.
That's very fun.
And, knowing me sitting at home watching a movie or a show, there may be a beverage or two involved.
That might be the most meta thing that I've ever heard in my entire life.
Really?
You're going to watch Wicked Bites, the show you host,
Yes.
while doing live commentary while watching the show that you host that you're on.
Well, I think we're a bit too far into the digital age to release DVDs, but being an old school, I love audio commentary tracks. Yeah. I love director's commentary tracks. I find that shit insightful as
it's the best. That's the only reason I get Blu-rays anymore.
You don't do it for the cover art?
I don't do it for the cover art.
I love it.
Sometimes I'll get the tin from Target. The Target tin.
The Target tin.
Yeah, they have those special,
No, I do.
They're very good. I got E.T. That was the most recent one.
Actually, funny you should mention. As we talk about it, something I found very interesting because I watched The Departed the other night. Research,
yeah,
not because I just wanted to sit down and watch The Departed, but we had to do this show. I always forget that first of all, there's no opening credits.
Yeah,
there's just a title card that doesn't come in until about 18 minutes.
Yeah, because they just jump in right to the
right into it. The monologue.
Yes.
We had Jack Nicholson for voiceover for a day, so let's have him just ramble on about the history of Boston and racism, which really doesn't have anything to do with
the rest of the movie. Right.
But give him Boston's Wikipedia and let him run wild.
Yes, let's see what happens. Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, for Christ's sakes, come on. Some interesting cast choices.
Most definitely.
Did you know that basically the cast that we've all gone to know and love?
Yes.
Not the original cast.
I did know that.
I found when I did this research, I found that shocking.
Well,
because this movie seems so perfectly cast.
It does, and it's really funny because you look at it, and this was a movie that had come and gone, and I want to say it was filmed in Boston, and
partially,
mostly
in New York, actually.
Yeah, and so I got cast 5 times in this movie over the course of its life, and none of the parts actually materialized because they were going through so many weird casting choices and changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you did end up in the movie.
I ended up in the movie, but I ended up in the movie as an extra. Okay. So
you were originally cast with a part.
Speaking roles.
No shit.
Yeah, there were several times there was yeah, you're in, and then we're changing stuff, so you're not in it anymore.
Did some of the characters you were originally cast in end up becoming somebody in the movie, or at least a variation of that?
No, nobody that I was in. I think it was. I saw a couple of scenes.
You weren't reading for Mr. French.
Yeah, I wasn't reading for Mr. French. No, but there was in the beginning where Jack Nicholson is talking to a young Matt Damon. There was that scene was similar to something I read for, so something stuff like that.
Okay.
And then there were just scenes that just weren't in that movie.
So you were reading for the part of Jack Nicholson.
Yes, I was. I was almost Whitey Bulger. So
Liam Stryker was Frank Costello for a minute.
Yeah, I was Frank Costello, and then I wasn't Frank Costello, then I was again, and then all of a sudden...
Politics, man. Politics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well,
Jack Nicholson thought it was a juicy character for him.
Interesting casting choices, and I found... One thing I found really interesting, The Good Shepherd has a lot to do with why it was cast this way. The movie The Good Shepherd,
really?
which was directed by Robert De Niro, stars De Niro, stars Matt Damon, stars Alec Baldwin, was going to star Leonardo DiCaprio, dropped out for this.
Okay.
Was also, where else did it come in? Let's see. Let's just run down. First of all, Billy Costigan, who ended up being played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Original choice, Tom Cruise.
Oh.
Tom Cruise.
Wow.
I don't know what incarnation it was, but Tom Cruise was at one time thought of for Billy Costigan. Producer of the film, Brad Pitt, originally was going to play Colin Sullivan. And he made what I feel one of the makes him almost one of the coolest people in the world. He actually backed out because he said he was too old.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He said he
that.
wouldn't be able to play he wouldn't be effective. So he backed out. Matt Damon stepped in while also filming The Good Shepherd.
Yes.
Frank Costello ended up being played by Jack Nicholson.
Yep.
Originally Al Pacino.
Yes.
That would be a fun movie to watch.
That would be a fun movie to watch. But you look at Nicholson did a great job with it, and I think that he had been out of the spotlight, and he's not synonymous with gangster roles.
No.
So that's why I think it lent itself to be more effective.
The funny thing about Jack is when you think about the movies he's done, like he's always Jack.
Right.
But outside of Jessup and The Shining,
Yeah.
he's not played bad. He hasn't really played bad guys.
No.
And you could argue that Colonel Jessup was actually a good guy because Santiago's death saved lives.
Yeah, that's right. You know, he stands up on that wall so that you can sleep at night.
Mm-hmm. But he really hasn't played bad guys if you think about it.
Right. The only other bad guy is a gangster, and he played the Joker.
Yeah. I mean, would you count Hoffa as a bad guy? I wouldn't.
No.
No. Because
No.
he ended up, a Joker. But yeah, Joker's Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely not really gangsters. So this
No.
was
And I think if Pacino was in that role or De Niro was in that role, we'd seen it so many times that I think it would have been just another gangster movie that they're in, and it would have been just another Scorsese movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just having Nicholson in that role gave it a different voice. While he might have been saying the same things that every other gangster in every other Scorsese movie has said in a million different ways.
Sure.
It was with a different tone of voice, and it hit you a different way.
There's also a lot of stuff, which we'll get to a little bit further along, that you wouldn't have seen in the movie, you wouldn't have heard in the movie, because Jack did a shitload of improv.
Right.
Like, he basically almost threw the script out and was like, I'm just going to be Jack.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to be weird as hell, and we'll get there. But you mentioned Robert De Niro. He was directing and acting in The Good Shepherd, and he wasn't able to play the part that he was offered, Captain Queenan.
Yeah.
Which ended up going to Martin Sheen.
Right.
I think that could have worked.
That could have worked. He would have been fine there.
An older De Niro playing the paternal part of,
Yeah.
that character, I think it worked. It would have worked. Damon, who ended up being Mark Wahlberg
Yes.
in the movie. One of my favorite parts. When he speaks, I listen in that movie.
Right.
It's unbelievable. Originally, Ray Liotta.
Okay.
Second choice, Dennis Leary.
That makes a lot of sense.
Dennis was filming Rescue Me. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's why.
And
'Cause he's great in Rescue Me.
It's interesting. I went to Mark Wahlberg's Wikipedia page because he was only able to he had to film at the beginning of the production,
Right.
and was only able to film for 4 days. He did all his parts in 4 days, and it said because of scheduling. I don't see anything on there around that time.
Well, because if I remember correctly, I'll have to take a look at his IMDb page, but Mark Wahlberg wasn't really doing anything prior to that.
Not in 2006, not in that area. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick while we're doing this.
You look at Mark Wahlberg and you think of him from like Boogie Nights,
Obviously.
but then up until 2000,
The Fighter Kid.
The Fighter, yeah, but that
was 2010.
That was post,
Yeah.
and so really, this kind of launched the Mark Wahlberg we know and love right now.
Where is it? Okay, there's The Departed. So let's see. The Departed came out in 2006. The other movie, he had one other movie in 2006, Invincible.
Right, he was because that's who he was. He was that guy that kind of popped up in those B-C list movies.
Yeah.
He wasn't the A-list actor that he is now.
Shooter and We Own the Night came out in 2007.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what he would have been filming in that range that would have caused him to only... I mean, granted, the fact he only had 4 days, I feel almost heightened his like, I'm going to chew up every scene I have.
Right.
I got 4 days on this motherfucker, and I'm going to be the star of this thing.
Right. But again, it's a persona shift. You look at Pacino in Scent of a Woman, right? And we get the hoo-ha, 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 that Pacino.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, he was a very straight-laced actor.
Not really a catchphrase, a catch noise.
Yeah, right. Catch noise.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about. That is how I feel about Mark Wahlberg in The Departed. We got that snarky Boston guy from that movie. And now all of a sudden he's embraced it, and it's become this very, very funny cult character that he's rode to the A-list.
Lace curtains, baby. Lace curtains.
Yeah.
So, Dennis Leary was second choice. It ended up going to Wahlberg. We mentioned De Niro. Now, my favorite character in the entire movie, Ellerby, played by Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, when I look at film characters, I want to see them lived in. I want to believe that this guy is a real person. And every part of Baldwin just screamed a real person. Now, granted, he might have been hungover throughout the whole thing, but he definitely looked hungover through the whole thing.
Right.
It was fantastic. When they were planning the raid and they were setting up the security cameras.
Right.
And he's just got sweat and coffee stains all over his shirt. He's scatterbrained. He's talking about going out. You have a smoke? You have a smoke? Oh, you don't smoke? You're a workout guy? Go fuck yourself. And he's grabbing his dick. It's awesome.
Right.
It's just my favorite part of the movie is just watching him be that character. But originally, and I'm really curious because this guy gets my credit as my favorite actor of all time.
Oh, really?
Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
He was filming Apocalypto and couldn't do the movie.
That movie?
Yep. Yeah, he was on the other side of the world talking in what language was that?
I don't remember, but that's the one with the Aztecs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was not the sequel to Passion of the Christ,
That's
but the next movie.
That's the movie that ends where the guy comes over the hill and sees the Spanish conquistadors come in or something. Yeah. That would have been so much better if it was aliens. Like if he just comes over that mountain and all of a sudden it's aliens and we realize this is the end of the Mayan calendar. Like,
so you're saying we got to do an Apocalypto show?
Yeah, we should do an Apocalypto show.
All right.
And a Battlefield Earth show because they're.
Oh well, that is. Do you see that we got to do a commentary for the whole thing?
Yeah, whole thing.
Just sit down, grab a case of beer, and just watch that.
Yeah,
yeah. That's for the Patreon. They'll pay. For that one.
They'll pay for that.
But yeah, Mel Gibson was in the Alec Baldwin role, and the last one, it says scheduling conflicts. But outside of making a Wu-Tang album, I don't know what the RZA was doing because he was offered Anthony Anderson's part of Trooper
Smoking
Brown.
a ton of weed.
I got scheduling conflicts, man. I gotta get way high.
Yeah, I gotta get way high. That or I gotta find the way to get more kung fu movies.
That's probably what he was doing. He's making the Iron Fist 4.
Yeah. Oh God. Hey, look, I will always love the RZA because he brought me Tony Jaa. And Tony Jaa is my favorite.
How can you not love the RZA? He's Wu-Tang.
He is
Wu-Tang.
But he brought me the greatest martial artist of all time, and that's Tony Jaa. Yeah. And well, I could do a whole show on Tony Jaa movies.
Are we going to have to do the double feature on the Iron Fist? Those movies?
Yeah, we'll do them both. Batista's in it, I think.
Oh, there we go. Maybe we can get New Age Insiders involved.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do a whole thing.
Cross-promotional branding. You know.
Exactly. It's all about the branding. See, we got the thing over there. 1997 was a significant year because of this movie. Leonardo DiCaprio starred in Titanic.
Yep.
Matt Damon won the Academy Award for Good Will Hunting.
Yep.
Jack Nicholson won his last Academy Award for As Good as It Gets.
Oh, that's right.
Mark Wahlberg, Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about like a little high school reunion of 97, huh?
I know, right?
That is a stellar.
What have you guys been up to?
Right?
I don't know. What have you been up to?
That's a stellar year. 97 was a stacked year. We might have to do just a whole 97 episode.
Ooh, we should.
Now, of course, saying all this, it makes sense that 50% of the $90 million budget went to cast.
Of course it did.
$90 million, and you got 50% of it just going to salaries.
Right. Well, you're also shooting in Boston at a point where Boston didn't really do movies all that much, so they were just happy to be there. That's still the way the Boston film market is they're just happy to have movies come. So of course people are bending over backwards, trying to give them stuff and have them do movies here. And
this was the movie that actually made Massachusetts
a filming destination.
Well, not only that, but it created a 25% tax credit for filmmaking.
Right.
It was this movie because they wanted to. They wanted to film. Scorsese wanted to do it in Boston,
right?
But concerns of productions and politics, et cetera, he went to New York City and basically did 2 weeks in Boston. He did the first half in June and then the second half in August,
right?
In Boston, and the rest was done in New York City, which makes that Chinatown scene make a lot more sense.
Yeah,
because that's one of those scenes where I'm just like, there's no way that's Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know where that alley is.
Yeah, right.
There's way too much neon in that alley for Boston.
Right. I don't believe in it here.
Stuff from the set. Ray Winstone Another fantastic actor.
Right.
Sexy Beast, one of my favorites. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, I will give you the DVD next week, and we'll do that one because
Okay.
that was one of our choices. That's one of my, like, anytime I'm like, people are like, oh, what movie should I watch? I know it. You haven't seen it. Go watch Sexy Beast.
Okay.
Thank me later. But Ray Winstone was the lead in Sexy Beast. He was also Mr. French in The Departed. Didn't get along with Jack Nicholson on the set.
Yeah, okay.
He basically, it was one of those moments where it's almost like, when you meet your hero and he's not what you expected.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like, I really wanted us to just get along and have a good time, but we didn't click, so we just kind of stayed away from each other.
Right.
But also, I would assume some of it might have had to do with Jack's behavior.
Yeah.
He was a bit odd on the set. Like I said, he improv'd a lot,
Yes.
and some of it was just too out there that didn't make the cut. He proposed. It was almost like they came to a compromise with this one. Jack proposed a scene with a whole bunch of hookers, a whole bunch of cocaine, and a whole bunch of strap-on dildos.
Yeah, okay. As you do.
So it was just out of the mind of Mr. Nicholson. And so he basically, it was almost like they compromised. They gave him that one scene where he was, throwing the cocaine on the hookers.
Yeah.
And then they gave him his dildo in the porno theater with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
It's like, we can do that. We're not going to film
A whole
your
scene.
coked up orgy. He's
Yeah,
just like,
right.
I want to do it.
I want to do it.
I want to do it.
Man.
Also, an interesting thing because Frank Costello was loosely based on Whitey Bulger.
Yeah,
That's not
loosely.
Loosely based, yeah.
I've heard of the guy.
Yeah, I've heard once or twice. And, of course, Whitey Bulger was known for his Red Sox hats.
Yeah.
Nicholson refused to not only did he refuse to wear a Red Sox hat because he's not a fan of Boston sports. If you hadn't known, you didn't see the '80s Lakers Celtics
30 for 30.
which was fantastic 3-part 30 for 30. He also banned all Celtics gear and logo from the set.
Oh, wow.
So that's why you never see a Celtics. You see the Red Sox all over the place.
But yeah.
Never wore it and wouldn't allow Celtics.
Similar story. Ben Affleck, who starred and produced Argo,
Yes, he did.
refused to wear a Yankees hat. They wanted him to wear a Yankees hat, and he was like, no, I will wear a Mets hat, but I will not wear a Yankees hat.
Another fun Affleck Yankee story. Paycheck. You see that one?
Yes.
Okay. So remember when he it's one of those things where you almost like you cryo freeze him kind of thing or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he comes out and he has a whole stack of VHS tapes, and they're
Okay.
of his favorite baseball team season. Original script, it was the Yankees. Final film, Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, right.
Affleck.
Yeah.
God love him.
Yeah. Stays on brand.
He
Stays on
absolutely
brand.
does. I don't think anybody from Massachusetts is going to be surprised when I say that Matt Damon's apartment didn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
It was an effects shot. It was done actually on the roof of Suffolk University,
Okay.
which, funny enough, character Colin said he was going to night school in.
Oh, yeah. There's also, it's funny because that rooftop scene between DiCaprio and Damon, that roof doesn't exist either.
That was a New York one.
Yeah,
believe.
but they superimposed the skyline.
Yeah.
Because that angle does not exist. You'd have to be in the harbor to get that angle.
There is there's a lot of that though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's to be expected when you have to film most of your movie in a different city. It's
Right.
a lot of superimposing, especially because, I mean, Jesus, how many out the window rooftop shots?
Yeah.
I mean, just too many.
Too many.
Too many. Fun little nod, and this is going to play into our giveaway.
Ooh.
This is going to play into our prize. Martin Scorsese. I believe the body count in the movie was 22, which seems low.
But it's not a shoot 'em up action movie.
It's not a shoot 'em up action movie. It's mostly about cops.
Right.
And of course, when I saw it's one of those things that, it's hard to, a movie that's, 11 years old now.
Yeah.
Is that right? 11? Yeah.
10.
10? Whatever. Math. It's hard to look back on and be like surprised by stuff. But I remember in the theater watching it, and there's few moments that have really got me like that ending.
Oh, yeah.
When that elevator door opens up.
Yeah, right.
And the back of Leo's head hits the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Right.
And then it was that guy who now, of course, you watch it, and it's like you see the guy throughout and you recognize him because we've seen the movie so many times.
Right.
But the first time watching it, you're like, who the fuck is that guy? Oh,
that's right.
That's the guy who's been with Damon the whole time. And he was with whoa.
Yeah, right.
Really, really good twist ending. And then he just blows away Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, right.
It's like, all right. And then he gets dead by Damon.
Right.
And then Damon gets dead by Wahlberg.
And then the funny thing was you heard that there was going to be a sequel.
There was two. There's been two rumored sequels. One was going to be a prequel.
Yeah.
The writer Monahan wanted to bring the whole cast back and do a prequel. I think that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool
because we could just do this all over again.
Right. Exactly.
The other one has been really pushed by Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
He wants the Digman story to continue.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's just him investigating his own murder.
How fantastic was his suit at the end, though?
It was the
tracksuit with the hospital slipper things,
right?
The cover-ups on the shoes, outstanding.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's one of those things. I think if you're gonna take the time to wait patiently, use a silencer, and then not even let him close the door, splatter his brains all over the hallway.
Yeah, I know.
Neighbors, maybe I don't know. It's a pretty rich part of Boston. I mean,
right? In theory,
if it existed, it'd be like $10,000 a month.
Yeah, probably
something like that. But fantastic tracksuit.
Fantastic
as a tracksuit aficionado.
Adidas and everything.
Absolutely, that's a fantastic tracksuit. The only thing that would have made it better, velour.
Ooh, if it was a velour Adidas tracksuit.
If it was velour, that would have been sexy.
And if he said he was a big star.
Yes, big star, biggest star in the whole world, fucking rock star.
Yeah, right. That would have been better.
But that's a show for the day, where Mark Wahlberg whips his wang out.
Yeah.
What would you say? I mean, I've talked about my favorite character, obviously, Baldwin. Where would you go with it?
You know what? I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked him. I thought that he played that descent into crazy very, very, very well. He had it all together, and as he was a good, wholesome, good guy cop, and by the end of it, he's paranoid and, borderline schizophrenic. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome to watch him just make that, like, emotional journey and have it be so believable.
I believe he said in interviews that he wanted the character to appear as if he was on a 24/7 panic attack.
Yeah, and that's exactly...
That's pretty much how he came across.
That's how he came across, exactly.
As far as accents.
Oof.
I mean, that's something that, we have to...
Yeah, we have to talk about.
We have to talk about.
Surprisingly, Damon's is the worst.
You think?
I think so. Okay. And then Wahlberg's is the best.
Wow. Bold statement. That's a bold statement.
Yeah, it's a bold move, Colin. I'm going to hope it pays off for him.
I hope it pays off. I thought Wahlberg at times, I loved everything he said. There were times where it was like, it's going a bit too far. He's almost overdoing. He's almost doing like a Dennis Leary in 2 If by Sea.
Yes.
It's like, Dennis, you're from Boston. You know how we talk.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think it was the fact that his accent was fine, but it was all of the stuff he was saying was with the proper inflections. And that's why I
think
it.
that has a lot to do with the Boston accent, is more our attitude.
Yeah. He captured the attitude because, like, DiCaprio wasn't great, and it was mostly because he didn't get the vibe of how we speak.
Right.
You know, you're saying the words, and it's like, yeah, technically in Spanish, I know how to tell you the cat is in my pants, but I don't actually have the right flair of how to say it. And that's basically DiCaprio.
I thought his was... See, I thought his was almost subtle enough that it wasn't intrusive.
Right.
And then when he did punctuate stuff, like I loved his delivery of the word "scotch."
Yeah.
In the shrink's office, when he's just like, "Why don't you give me a gun and a ball of scotch,
Yeah.
and I'll blow my fucking brains out." And I'm like, "Okay, good delivery,
Good delivery.
good delivery." Because
But again,
mine slips when I'm drinking.
Yes.
Like my R's drop right the fuck off.
Yeah, right
When
off.
I'm drinking, and I've heard
off,
myself
guy.
say stuff, cocktail,
Hit
scotch.
you with a cocktail.
Give myself a fucking cocktail.
Oh. We'll go down
So-
to Revere, get some Kellys, and get shit-faced.
Exactly. So we all know that. Baldwin was just doing Baldwin.
Yeah, Baldwin and Nicholson were just doing Baldwin and Nicholson.
Nicholson, I don't know what he was doing,
He was just doing Nicholson.
but it was when he tried to lean into the Boston accent, it was just odd.
Yeah, it was weird. Because it's Nicholson. It's kind
just
of like it's like Connery, right? I know what I'm looking at. I don't need you to try. Just do you. I'm here for you. I don't need you,
bro.
Yeah, I don't need you to try. Just do it. Just do the thing that you got going on.
Martin Sheen, not great.
No.
Not great. Almost like he showed up last minute and was like, "All right, what do I do?
Yeah,
talk
what am I
like
here?
Wahlberg? Okay, cool."
Yeah. Do I just talk like Wahlberg?
Again, I think going back to Wahlberg for a second. I mean, I think the fact he was given 4 days, I think he was basically in his mind, he's like, "I'm going to out Boston everybody."
Yeah, I'm gonna be the most Boston part of this Boston movie.
I mean, he said in interviews that he based the character on a hybrid of all the police officers that have arrested him in his life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he's like, like almost like I'm in a movie with Matt Damon. I'm going to be the most Boston dude in this one.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if he got that.
I liked it. Again, it was the inflection, and he captured the spirit. He captured the spirit of it.
I think Damon nailed it in the rugby scene
Yeah.
when he was calling the firefighters.
Yeah, this is the first time you're ever gonna get pussy in the
Yep.
in the history of fire or pussy.
Or pussy. Yes, I thought his police trashing fire was spot on.
Oh, it's funny.
It was
so funny.
and that was when you're talking about inflection and attitude and just nailed it. Like the other guy's talking about like something completely different, and Matt Damon's just like, "Fucking firefighters, pussy!" Like, wow, guy, we are so done with that.
Yeah, right.
Let it go. But
Yeah.
no, we can't let things go. We can't
No.
let things go until we get to the bar.
Yeah, right. And then we're 4 drinks deep.
Exactly.
And then it comes back.
Now we've talked about the casting and all that stuff, and some of the original offers that were made. Would it have been? It would have been a different movie. But are there some people you could see slipping in? And I don't mean like De Niro, Sheen, because that's almost like,
Yeah.
all respect to both of them, but that's almost like the same thing.
Right.
But I'm talking more like the Ray Liotta as Digman, or Dennis Leary as Digman, or the RZA being in it,
Yeah. I think we could have found a way to get
Al
Ben
Pacino.
Affleck. I think we could have found a way to get Affleck in here. I think, know.
If you look closely enough, there's a few Wahlberg brothers in there.
Right.
Bobby was the FBI agent
That's right.
that keeps popping up in all those scenes, even when it's like really odd that he's there. There was one Bobby Wahlberg pop up that I noticed that I was like, why is he there? And it was when Martin Sheen and Mark Wahlberg are talking to Jack Nicholson by the little kids and the angels.
Okay, yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like it's just Mark and Martin talking to Jack.
Yeah.
And then the very last time they cut to Wahlberg and Sheen, his brother Bobby's standing in between the two of them. He wasn't in the entire scene, and all of a sudden he's just standing there, and I'm like,
Where'd you come from?
first of all, why is he there? Second of all, why is an FBI agent in this conversation?
Yeah, right.
Now, I understand that later they piece together that Bobby was the FBI agent that Jack was the informant for.
Right.
Just through photographs that Damon's looking through at the end.
Right.
But I don't believe Martin Sheen's character, let alone Mark Wahlberg's character, would have invited him to a little powwow with Frank Costello.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I just don't see it happening. But
Yeah, that
Get your
feels
brother
like
a
one of
check.
those classic times where a scene is missing somewhere, and they cut it out, and it makes the logical connection.
it was quite a bit of deleted scenes.
Yeah.
If you get the Blu-ray, there's quite a bit of. There's a great Whitey Bulger documentary on the Blu-ray.
Oh, is there?
There is.
I'll have to watch
some
it.
good stuff on that. I'm actually a big fan of the Whitey Bulger doc on there. Where would you rank Departed? Let's do 2 rankings.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, Boston movies, and then Scorsese movies.
Scorsese movies, I would say top 3, just because I love Goodfellas, I love Casino.
You think it's above Raging Bull, Mean Streets,
Jeez, I even forgot about Raging Bull. So top 5.
Kundun?
Yeah.
Might have beat Kundun.
Yeah, I think it might. It definitely beats Shutter Island.
Oh yeah,
It definitely beats Shutter Island.
I was in Shutter Island.
Oh,
Well, I mean, I was cut out of Shutter Island.
yeah, very very fun. Yeah, maybe 4th.
So you're gonna go Goodfellas. I mean, I think everybody goes Goodfellas.
Yeah, Goodfellas, Casino, Raging Bull, and then The Departed.
I'd go with that.
I think that's a fair.
I think that's, and then Mean Streets right below that.
Yeah, then Mean Streets right below that.
Yeah.
Then Shutter Island.
Kundun fall.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
I love Kundun.
Yeah, well.
Actually, I don't love Kundun. I love the line that Christopher says in The Sopranos when they're waiting outside the New York club, and it's not Martin Scorsese, but it's some guy playing Martin Scorsese being ushered into a nightclub because Marty does the rave, and he's getting ushered by, and everybody's going, "Oh, Scorsese," and everybody's good fellow, and Christopher goes, "Marty, Kundun, I liked it." It's like, come on, man. You know that writer was just like, I'm gonna fucking roast Scorsese for that one.
That's so funny.
Now Boston movies.
I absolutely love the Boondock Saints. And
Wow. Okay.
so
I mean, I like it. I don't know how high on my list it gets.
yeah.
What was the sequel called? All Saints Day, something like that.
Yeah, Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day.
Boondocks go to New York, or
Yeah, they go to
Boondocks
hell.
in Love.
Yeah. The issue with that movie was it was bad right until the end. Mm-hmm. And then the ending was great.
2 or 1?
2.
Oh yeah. Okay.
2. Probably Good Will Hunting is probably number 1. That's probably number 1. I'm gonna
I think
say
that's where Hollywood really was like, oh, Boston,
yeah,
they got some shit over there.
they got some shit over there. Yeah,
Okay, so we got Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. I'd probably put The Departed there,
Number 2.
number 2. Because then I would have to say Boondock Saints, The Town.
The Town. God, that's one that I think if you're a movie fan, especially from Boston, that shoot 'em up at Fenway Park is
So
just
cool.
so like the only way to describe it is like boner inspiring.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's like, oh my god, I would love to shoot an action scene in Fenway Park.
Right.
That is just like fucking
Yeah.
Affleck.
It was awesome.
It was fantastic.
Because after that, I think, like, what's the worst that could happen? Fever Pitch, Celtic Pride, like, the mob. I don't know if this even counts because it's not necessarily a Boston movie. So, Ted 2.
See, I would put Ted. I would put the first Ted in there.
First Ted.
I put the first Ted in there. I thought the Teds were okay.
Grown Ups.
Oh Jesus!
You know what I mean? Like, they're all together.
Can we just make that a Swampscott movie and not a Boston movie?
Yeah,
Oh my God, Grown Ups.
Grown Ups 2.
Grown-Ups,
Electric
yeah.
Boogaloo. You know?
Let's get the Adam Sandler effect where it's just he picks a destination for his friends to go on vacation, gets a studio to pay him millions of dollars to do it.
The craziest part of watching that
I'm going to do a
movie-
romantic comedy with Drew Barrymore, but it has to be in Hawaii.
Right.
No, it doesn't.
She has to be a brain damaged girl in Hawaii. No, that's
she
not
doesn't.
integral to this plot.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's not integral to this plot at all.
Why does Netflix keep giving him money?
Because people watch him. They're not good, but people watch them.
I think a reoccurring theme on this show is going to be people are dumb.
Yeah, they are. They're very stupid.
Why?
I don't know.
Why do you keep giving Adam Sandler the excuse to make these crap movies?
Yeah, it's
because he actually has good movies in him.
Oh, he does.
He has the ability to pull good movies out.
It's because if you
it's lazy.
He's making movies the way that we made movies in film school. Right? Where it's like, hey, we have this fun idea, and we're a bunch of friends, and we're going to get together, and we're just going to do this fun thing that we think is fun, and really we don't care what anybody else thinks because it's just for us. And that's all Grown Ups was. Grown Ups was, we're going to go rent a cabin in the woods, and none of the scenes have any plot. It's just bit, bits over, next scene. Bit.
Shocking
bits
from
over.
Saturday
Night Live alum.
Thank you.
That's all it was. It was a giant bit fest. And then they shoehorned that plot in about how, Adam Sandler's kid needs to learn about humility. And it's just like,
right, because he's rich.
Because he's rich.
Because he's a rich guy, yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. And it was just like, this is stupid.
And, of course, he has to be married to Salma Hayek because, why not?
Why not?
It's that there. See, that's the Dennis Leary effect.
Yeah.
Where it's like somehow Dennis Leary is a sex symbol to all these women.
Oh,
I mean, Jesus, Rescue Me alone was his self-gratifying.
Look at
I now pronounce you all the hottest women on TV.
Look at I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Adam Sandler is the personification of the hot New York firefighter.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, what was the one? He played the hairdresser. Wasn't he like a sexy
Zohan.
Oh, God, he was like the sexy hairdresser.
That movie was bad.
That was terrible.
It was bad.
You thought Little Nicky was bad.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Where he plays the sexy devil. The devil's kid.
Yeah, he plays a mildly...
Yeah. He waterboyed it up.
Yeah, he waterboyed.
But he didn't go full Waterboy.
Waterboy's the best.
You never go full Waterboy.
I love the Waterboy. That movie is so funny and so good. I love
Now, do you think we're just going off on a Sandler thing, but do you think it's because he wrote Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and those things, so like I said, he has good movies in him. And where does it fall apart?
It falls apart where I don't think he can write movies for his age.
Okay, that's very accurate.
I think that's what it is. I think that if he was to... Eventually, we'll see him write movies for other funny people. Mm-hmm. And when he starts to do that, he'll be a phenomenal writer. Because I think that the ideas and the premises of all of these movies have legs. The Ridiculous Six is the first of his Netflix movies. And it is... the hardest of hot garbage dumpster fires.
See, you watched it, though.
Yeah, I did, but it was also we were working, it was on a TV in the office, and...
Don't justify it. Just
yeah, but I kept looking at being
shame.
this thing's still on?
Own your shame.
I know, whatever. Anyway.
You watched The Ridiculous Six.
The premise of The Ridiculous Six is that they're going to go avenge their father's death or go to kill their father... But this guy goes...
All six of them are brothers.
They're all half-brothers.
Wow.
So they all have the same father, and they're all going to go either avenge their father or kill their father. I can't remember which one it is. And that has funny comedy legs.
Okay.
Because they're all half-brothers. They all have this one thing in common.
So their dad was kind of Daddy Dudley.
Yeah.
Just a traveling salesman banging hooas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And so that's...
just dropping little Dudleys all over the country.
All over.
I love the origin story of the Dudleys, by the way.
I know. It's the freaking best. It's how we get Bubba, Devon, Big Dick.
Somehow we got to work that into that wrestling show.
The Dudley family?
The Dudley origin story. But I don't know. Messing.
When Kane retires, we'll do best family origin stories.
But gloss over, Daddy Dudley's nefarious acts.
Yeah.
Not all of that was consensual.
Oh, no. No. How do you get little Spike Dudley?
Exactly.
But that's
Sad
kind of
shooter.
where, that's why I think, there's things with Adam Sandler where it's you have a good premise, but then you need to be the lead. And I don't know if you can play the lead when you're not...
Right. If you're not Adam Sandlering it up.
Yeah, because he doesn't Adam Sandler it up anymore.
I liked some of the stuff his production company has done I've liked. Like Grandma's Boys, I thought was
right, and that's kind of
fantastic.
and
and he
that's
didn't show up at all in that.
That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Right.
Where it's like you still have the idea of what can be funny, but you just decide that like you're going to go and shoot this movie and it's going to be you and your buddies and you're going to dick around and it's not going to be for us.
I believe his production company also does the Goldbergs, the TV show The Goldbergs.
I believe so.
That's part of that, which I'm still convinced that Adam Goldberg just stole my life and moved it to Philly.
Yeah.
Every single part of me and my brother were talking about the other day. It's like every part of the Goldbergs is like, oh my God, that we not only did we have all those toys, did we have that T-shirt, did we watch that movie? We did all this shit.
That's so funny.
Son of a bitch.
I've never actually watched that show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I heard it's good.
It's especially 80s. The first season was so good.
Yeah.
It was one of those like every part about the first season was so great nostalgia.
Okay.
Without, there's movies. Okay, there's movies and TV shows. You're wearing the Stranger Things shirt. I think Stranger Things put you in the 80s in a very realistic way.
Right.
Where it's not like nostalgia.
Right.
But that's the setting. It's a period piece. I think they do it very well.
Yes.
The Goldbergs is nostalgia.
Yeah,
Remember Millennium Falcon? That
remember the Millennium Falcon.
The Goldbergs.
Hashtag listen to Memory Mania on the NAI Pop Network.
I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
You guys
We
doing
did two.
Member Berries?
We've done two so far. We've done one about Star Wars and one about...
I listened to the Star Wars one, and I corrected you about a number of things.
Yes, you did.
The Christmas special was one of them, right?
Yeah, it was the Christmas special. That's why the Ewoks were there.
That's right. Because the Wookiees failed miserably on the
Ewoks.
Star Wars holiday special.
Holiday special, right.
Was Wookiee-based.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we are never doing that again.
Yeah.
However, being someone who owns a copy of the Star Wars holiday special,
I've never seen it.
there will be a very special That Movie Show Christmas special.
Good. Can we do that and my favorite Christmas show, Christmas special? It's the Muppet Family Christmas.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you seen the Muppet Family Christmas?
I believe the Muppet.
The Muppet Family Christmas is the one where the Muppets go to Fozzie Bear's mom's house in the country.
I want to say I've seen it, not in many, many, many years, but I want to say
you probably
I've
have.
seen it. Yeah.
And then the Sesame Street shows up, and all the Sesame Street characters are there. Basically, everybody that's involved with Jim Henson at that time, the Fraggles are involved.
Jim Henson just had like 40 cables coming out of his arm.
Yeah, he's just
everyone.
Yeah, it was. It's a mess, but it's a ton of fun.
So let's wrap up The Departed so we can get into what we've been doing for the last 10 minutes of general conversation.
Yeah, right.
So I would put, as far as Boston movies, Departed, that and The Town are tough for me.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, when we started this, when I came out of the theater, I was like, that's a near perfect movie to Departed.
Right.
But I love The Town.
I love The Town, too, and I think
it's a hair above The Town only because The Town dips a little too deep into that romantic storyline.
Right.
Like, The Departed kind of does it for, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah, the Town, my issue with The Town is his fascination with leaving. Like, Ben Affleck's character is like, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go to the orange groves. You know what I mean? And it's just like...
Well, he's sitting there wearing his Sully's brand T-shirts.
Right.
It's like, dude, you are so Boston. What are you talking about?
You're going to get there and go, this fucking sucks, dude.
Sucks, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get there, you're going to hate it. I know every Boston guy. That's exactly what it is.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
That's the reason, is that between the love story, because Jeremy Renner is arguably the best character in both of those movies.
Yeah, he might have done the best Boston person ever.
Yeah, he was the best character in both of those movies, but that little tidbit of Ben Affleck trying to, like, leave and get out and want to be out of here and not a part of this life anymore, it didn't fit.
Right.
It didn't really fit.
He wouldn't be that type.
Right.
Like, him saying, I want to get out of here would mean, like, moving from Southie to Dedham.
Right.
Maybe buying a nice place in Wellesley.
And that's my big issue, and we can talk about this on a different movie, but that's my issue with all of these young adult novel movies, where it's just like, I'm a young teen, and I think that the system is wrong. And it's just like, you don't know anything else. How do you know that there's something else out there? This is all you know. You wouldn't have this inherent feeling of like, this is wrong. And that's how I feel about Ben Affleck's character, where it's like, this is your whole life.
You only know bank robbing in Southie.
Right. You only know Charlestown and bank robbing.
Charlestown, yeah, you're right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And so how can you know that there's something else that you want to be a part of?
Right.
So, I don't know.
So you've convinced me.
Yeah.
The Town Below the Departed.
All right.
I think Good Will Hunting, just because Good Will Hunting was really, I know it wasn't the first Boston movie ever, but it was
as
really,
I mentioned, Celtic Pride.
Yeah, exactly. God, I remember when they filmed Celtic Pride. That's how fucking old I am. I actually remember that.
I watched that movie and it was bad.
It was rough. It was a rough one. The only good thing about it, you get to see the old garden.
Yeah, the old garden.
It was like the last thing they did before they ripped it down.
It sucks that they put the tea underground. Because I liked that old aesthetic of like the green
fantastic.
line. The green line.
The elevated green line, yeah, it looked great.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Absolutely. So Departed, success.
Yep.
I think we're both very happy with that one.
Oh yeah.
I sent you a picture the other night. You're like, which one you want to do? I love The Departed. Okay, me too.
Yeah, right.
So let me tell you what the prize is going to be as we wrap up our Departed talk.
Ooh, very fun.
So remember, the way to win this prize from my wildly mediocre prize closet is share this show. Whether you're
whatever platform.
Whichever platform you're on, whether it's on this Facebook, whether it's on the YouTube that gets posted tomorrow, whether it's on New Age Pop, on
Podomatic or
iTunes, every place
Stitcher,
your favorite
Normal.
podcast can be found.
Right.
Share it. Tweet us. Tag Liam and myself. Our things are right there.
Yep.
At Mike
and
Wendt.
tag New Age Pop.
And New Age Pop, which is up in the top corner there. Hashtag that movie show.
Yep.
Just share it. Share it and let us know you share it. And share it multiple times, because at this time next Saturday, you got a week from today. This Saturday, right?
Yep.
Okay, week from today.
I know. I'm lost in days too.
It is Saturday, November 11th, right now.
Right.
So a week from today, we will pick a winner at random.
Ooh.
So the more you share, the more chances you get to win a DVD copy of the 1932 Scarface.
Oh, that's really good.
Which they paid homage to in The Departed. Now, granted, not all our prizes on this show are going to be so connected to what we're talking about, but this one I saw on my shelf, and I'm like, you know what? There it is. 1932 DVD copy of Scarface going to the winner, randomly selected next Saturday. So share this show on all platforms, please. General discussion, Liam.
Ooh, I love general discussion.
Because this is our first episode. Normally we'll do a topic. We'll pick a topic of whatever it is, best double feature, best musical, best whatever.
Great.
But this is the first episode, and for those of you that are new to both of us, let's introduce ourselves.
Okay.
Liam Stryker.
Well, I am Liam Stryker of the New Age Insiders. If you're listening to this on NAI Pop, you know who I am from the New Age Insiders Wrestling Show, or Late Night Liam, which is on NAI Pop.
Right.
Basically, outside of here, I am a television producer. That is what I do for a living. So movies have been a huge part of my life. I've talked about it on New Age Insiders, on Late Night Liam before, but I grew up being an actor. I started out as an actor, and you can see, and if you ask, I'll find it and send it to you, but my first commercial was a Lucky Charms commercial.
No shit.
When I was in the 3rd grade.
Oh, my
God. And it's me dancing around with a bunch of tiger toys and stuff like that. And so I started acting very young and doing commercials and movies and TV. And it's funny because we talked about this off the air.
Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Newton, Massachusetts.
From the area?
Yeah, so I'm from the area. I was in The Departed.
Yes, you were.
We talked about it earlier. I got cast several times. I ultimately ended up becoming an extra. I was actually in the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, and that's on TNT and USA like all the time.
All the time.
And so I get paid all the time. Like there's 2 checks sitting in my apartment that I haven't cashed yet.
That weird surrogates check.
Yeah, that I get residual checks for. It was like, we showed this on USA, so
Awesome.
Here you go. And then I was in What's the Worst That Could Happen way back in the day with Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito.
That was filmed. I was going to John Robert Powers acting school.
Okay.
And that was filmed right outside while I was in class.
Was that a part of CP casting
Possibly.
over in like Back Bay?
It was I want to say Broad Street?
I don't know the name of the street.
Maybe.
but
It's right by 75 State because that's where I used to park.
Okay.
I used to park in 75 State and walk down the street.
Okay.
So it's that area.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was they were filming a scene for that movie when I was doing acting class. And all of us were just like, why can't we just go downstairs and be in the movie?
Right. Yeah, right.
Because movies don't work that way, dum-dum.
Yeah, because movies don't work that way. So why are you?
But yes, as you, movies have been pretty much the biggest constant in my life. There's been 2 forms of entertainment that have been a constant in my life as far as back as I can remember. That's pro wrestling and movies.
Right.
And all forms of it. I remember, and like yourself, done acting. I'm kind of jealous that you were actually in this.
Oh, yeah?
Because while I've been in roughly 20 movies filmed in Boston, none of them are the cool movies.
Yeah.
I never got The Departed. I never got The Town, Black Mass, all the cool
Right.
Equalizer, the Boston movies, the gangster Boston movies. I'm in Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. That's my TNT check.
That's so funny.
There's a scene, you can actually see me, because I've been cut out of pretty much every single one except this one.
Hashtag story of my life.
Yep. Hashtag cutting room floor king. So in Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, it's kind of like it's a twist on like Christmas carols,
Right.
Ghost of Christmas Past, Future, etc. So the first flashback scene is to Michael Douglas and the child that would become Matthew McConaughey at a 80s singles bar, which was filmed in Boston. It was filmed at a club that used to be called Saint, and I think it's called Storyville now.
Okay.
Downstairs, the club had like red velvet walls. It looked very sexy.
Yeah.
it was a sexy club.
Velour.
And we're portraying 80s singles. And they paired me off with this girl, and they're like, okay, we want, the PAs. Like, oh, yeah, we want you to walk in, because we're walking right past Michael Douglas.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, we're going to be on. Yeah. We are definitely not getting cut out of this. Michael Douglas is doing a 2-minute monologue, and we're sitting down over his shoulder. We are right there. The camera's, we're good.
Yeah, right.
We're good on this one. I was pretty confident that wasn't going to get cut. So we do the first take, and we walk over, we sit down, and we start miming, ordering drinks and bullshit. Director comes over. Actual director. Not the assistant.
Not the first AD.
Not the PAs or any of that stuff. No, the actual director.
Wow.
You guys are right on camera. So I want to know if you're comfortable just really being all over each other. You cool? She's like, I'm like, all right. All right. So basically, the bottom line of the story is I sat there behind Michael Douglas making out with a chick for 2 days.
That's pretty cool.
And had a nice little connection with McConaughey. He liked my choice in cowboy boots.
That's fun.
We were, and luckily it was right before he got mobbed by all the female extras.
Yeah.
So we wrapped on the second day, and I'm walking to the T station. His trailer is right on the street. I didn't know it was just trailers.
Yeah, right.
And I'm walking, texting my cousin. Blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, he gets out and starts walking in the same pace as me, and I was like, "I'm done."
Yeah, right.
The unwritten rule, the extras, you don't really associate or talk
right.
because we're all working.
Right. You don't talk to the stars.
Sure, but I'm done. So
Right.
I'm wrapped. They got my forms. They got my money. I'm good. I've got my check coming in the mail. I'm done. So I just kind of look over, like, in such a. Looking back, I'm like, oh,
such a mark.
Such a douchey thing. It's good working with you, man.
Yeah. Oh, what a dickhead.
Yep. What else was I going to say to him?
Right.
Hey, I loved you in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, right.
But he looks over, and it couldn't have been more McConaughey. He goes, all right, man. Good times. I go, He's so high.
Oh, of course
mind
he
you.
is.
And then we keep walking. He looks down. Those your boots, man? Those wardrobes? They're mine. All right, man. And then the mob of girls come running at him, and I'm like, hey, see ya.
Yeah, right.
Took off. But yeah, so that was it. Another cool story from that set. Getting to watch playback standing next to Emma Stone before she was Emma Stone.
Right.
At that time, all I knew her from was she did a couple episodes of Lucky Louie
Oh, yeah.
on HBO. She was in a few episodes, and it took me till the second day to figure out who the hell she was. Now, in this day and age, she's Emma Stone.
Right.
But
at that point,
time,
she was just the chick that was in Superbad, right?
and she was, yeah, but she was so made up to look.
Yeah, because she was so nerdy and geeky.
so
in that
nerdy.
movie.
She had the big curly red hair and makeup and braces and all that stuff, and the '80s clothes. And I'm like, who the fuck is she? So after you wrap the first day, you go to IMDb. Who the hell is in this movie? And I'm like, click, 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 click. Oh. So next day, I'm just watching playback with Emma Stone. No big deal. She went on to be Emma Stone. I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah, of course, huh? Look at that. I was almost the kid in The Sixth Sense, but that's a story for another day.
Exactly.
I have a very, very fun set story. I have a couple.
Sure.
One is I did get to work on one of the cool movies. I got to work on The Surrogates, and Surrogates is a sci-fi action movie.
I was in Surrogates.
Yeah, you got to play a dead body. I got to play a military commando, and so you're laying in the street.
Oh, I got the trump card, but I'll let you go.
So I get called, and I had I auditioned for just this one line in this movie.
Yeah.
And I made such an impression on the director that he actually combined like 3 faceless soldier characters into one character for me. And so that I would be in the movie like just a little bit more. I worked like 3 or 4 days. And so one of the things they said was like, hey, look, you gotta, like, are you okay jumping out of a helicopter? And I'm like, of course I am.
I mean, everything gets a yes, but that gets a oh hell yes.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, cool. And then they're like, all right, by the way, you're going to fire an M16 with blanks in it.
Sure.
Like, yeah, that's just what we're going to have you do. So I show up on the day, and the helicopter wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. I was expecting, like, rope, rappel, like that whole thing.
Right.
And it was just, like, 3 feet off the ground, jump off and run away. Like, that was it. So it was just like, oh, this isn't... You asked me to get off of a helicopter. Right. You didn't ask me to jump out of a helicopter.
Now, did you? How much did you see yourself in the movie?
I'm in it quite a bit.
Now, did they make it look like you were jumping out, or did it make it?
So, yeah, I mean, it's not impressive. It's not like an impressive.
I mean, granted, you're shooting a fucking machine gun,
but that
getting
is
off a helicopter.
So that entire scene is actually pretty cool. It's a big. So the scene is that we're going to get Ving Rhames' character, who's like this person that's going to take down the system or whatever. Yeah. So I go and we end up getting to a small firefight. And I kill Ving Rhames is basically what ends up happening.
You kill Ving Rhames.
I kill Ving Rhames.
Nice.
They then cut it together so that they like have the guy that plays Abraham like confirm the kill, but I have the script and I did like 90% of the work, and so it's pretty cool.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, right? This is the guy on Abraham. He was super cool. The guy that plays Abraham on The Walking Dead.
Oh,
he
was,
he was a really cool guy. Then
I don't want to blow up his spot, but the GM of the Cadillac Lounge posted a picture of him last night. Apparently, Rhode Island Comic Con is happening, and
it is. It's
he swung by the old caddy.
Ooh, baby.
Last night.
Ooh, baby.
Who's Deanna? Greatest line in the whole series. I don't
Yeah.
care what they can do. A million of these episodes. Who's Deanna will always be the greatest line.
Yeah. And then I was also doing Here Comes the Boom with Kevin Smith.
James.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin James, what did he lose weight for like 20 minutes to do an MMA movie?
Yeah, Kevin James.
Yeah.
But I was in that, and it was his like medium fight. So we filmed it in the old Everett High School. Mm-hmm. And now, if you're an extra, that's why they send all the extras to sign NDAs because all of the people that were from Everett in that area told all of their relatives where they were filming, and so the place got mobbed with extras. Not extras.
Just people.
That just wanted to be a part of this movie, and it was just like we can't.
It's bad enough that everybody figures it out eventually.
Right.
Once they figure out what those yellow signs are.
Right. Exactly.
They follow them.
Yeah. And
they've been doing outside the studio here. They did the Ben Affleck movie,
right.
Live by Night.
Okay.
Live by the Night.
Yeah,
that one that came out a couple years ago. They did that one. Proud Mary was shooting over at the Lawrence Cinemas, which that was pretty impressive. Like they basically, because the cinemas over there have been closed for a while.
Oh yeah.
So they took it over and they had basically a pyramid of shipping containers in front of the thing, basically blocking whatever was happening inside the theater. My guess is it was a night shoot, so they were trying to block as much, because there was also the canopy over the top and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they were trying to get over to the light.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, movies. This is pretty much the perfect show for, I think, both of us to be doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, because it's always nice to kind of talk. But I see a lot of movies, and so do you. And sometimes, like, we did Memory Mania, and we wanted, I wanted to talk about Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know this is a terrible example because you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok yet, but
I had a rough week.
I want to talk about Thor Ragnarok, and I just don't have anybody to talk about it. Same thing with a lot of these other movies.
I will try to get it in before next week.
Yeah, so we'll talk about, by then we'll watch something else.
So I did hear, it was maybe 2 weeks ago on Late Night Liam, which you can find on New Age Pop.
Yep.
About your Rocky Horror Tim Curry thing. Now, we'll do a Rocky Horror show.
Yes.
Because I love that movie probably just as much.
Oh, yeah.
But you said something, and I'm like, oh, I got him. You said in it that you wanted to play Frankenfurter.
I do.
I did a year as Riff Raff.
Oh.
And one night as Frank.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was in my early 20s. I was about 90 pounds lighter with abs. I looked awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I've had way too many Wicked Bites episodes to put the heels on now. But yeah, I did. It was with a theater company, and we did a couple. Basically, I was asked to do a Nutcracker with them.
Okay.
And that same group also had a side project, which was Rocky Horror. So since I was coming back the following year for the Nutcracker, they said, well, we need a riffraff.
Right.
So I stepped in there, and after a while, I kept being like, I want to do the Tim Curry part.
Right.
And they're basically like, oh, well, if he doesn't show up,
right.
And there was one night that he didn't show up, and I got to wear the heels.
That's amazing.
And it was like one of the most fun nights I've ever done. And I am such, like, even coming over here, I had the soundtrack shuffle. Yeah. And I got the soundtrack on my Google Music. Pops up. Science fiction double feature popped up on my drive over here. I'm like, yes. That was one that I watched in October for my horror marathon thing that I do. And also, that was another commentary track I listened to. It was Richard O'Brien and Patricia Quinn doing the commentary track. And it is so English.
Of course it is.
It is so,
of course it is.
Their dry British humor is just so biting throughout it.
Yeah, of course.
But I think a Rocky Horror episode is definitely in our future.
Of course it is.
Now, I think this was, we kind of text back and forth a little bit. Episode 2, I believe we can tease.
Yeah.
Face
off. I'm going to take his face off.
We will be covering Face Off.
I love that movie.
That
it's
is
so amazing.
Again, very different from The Departed, but just as bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much stuff. Casting choices. Having Nick Cage just sets it to a whole nother stratosphere, but then having Nick Cage play Travolta play Nick Cage.
Right. And the premise of that movie is bonkers.
I think the premise of the movie was written on a mirror after snorting a line of cocaine.
Right. Well, it's like, if anybody should have done this movie, it should have been like 1980, 81, like Val Kilmer and Travolta. Mm-hmm. Like two people that look similar enough that, like, yeah, if we just like swap their faces, they could pass as the same person. But like, what was this? 99 Travolta, who's like kind of fat at this point.
It was really the. I mean, we'll do long form next week or whenever we get back into this. Yeah. I'm thinking next week because you're going to China in 2 weeks.
I'm going to China in 2 weeks,
so we're going to do one this week. But yeah, it was one of the last post Pulp Fiction good Travolta movies.
Right.
Like he had a very small window.
Right, because it was like that and Michael.
Get Shorty. It was Get Shorty, Broken Arrow, Face Off, and then they threw Michael, and it started to really go downhill. It was Phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it was just like, he just went off the deep end because that was around the time, once he hit Battleship Earth in 2000, it was,
Yeah.
Anyway. That is for episode 2. We'll be doing Face Off. This was That Wrestling Show. Let me get this music going so we can wrap it up and go to the Bruins game.
Yeah.
Let me get this on. But, of course, share this show. Share this show on social media. Win yourself a copy of the 1932 Scarface, which we talked about in this episode.
Yeah, you should definitely check out that version of Scarface just because everybody knows the Al Pacino version.
Yes.
And it's not many people know that it's a remake.
No.
And there are a lot of elements. The blimp that says the world is yours, the world that comes from this movie, not the blimp, but the concept.
The concept.
So it's really cool to see where they pulled a lot of elements for that Al Pacino movie from that original.
It's fantastic. It's a classic. It can be yours. Share this show. You have a week, so share it a bunch. We'll be randomly drawing it next Saturday. I am Mike Wendt.
I am Liam Stryker.
Follow us on the Twitter below. Follow New Age Pop, and we will see you on episode 2 of That Movie Show.